Welcome to season 5 of the No Excuses Coaching Podcast.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Can you believe season 5 already?
I mean, yeah, because we did seasons 1 through 4, and now it's season what did you think? Did you think it was gonna be season 9 next?
No, I'm just like, I feel like we're just like going through the seasons. It's really happening. This is episode 94 too, by the way. I'm like on serious countdown mode to 100 episodes. I
It's
think it's
happening.
cool. I think it's
We-
cool. Like, yeah,
We're, we're official. We have a podcast.
yeah,
Just episodes coming out, seasons,
it's
you know,
happening.
living that podcast life.
Yeah, totally living it. Like, we're podcasters. We actually are podcasters now.
Yeah, crazy to think.
Yeah,
Kind of.
yeah.
I joined new online portal for this program that I'm in now. And when you join a new online portal, it's like put in your name, upload a picture of you. And the picture of me, I just went to my hard drive and picked the most recent selfie I had, which happened to be me holding my microphone. And in the picture, the microphone is the same size as my face. And it's that little image is that's a podcaster, even though I'm
Yeah,
not, there's a lot more we do than podcasting, but it's there in the identity. It's
it
there now.
is. Yeah.
It
I
is.
mean, everybody knows me now with my mic and my setup. When I get on Zoom calls with people, they're like, you're so professional. And I'm like, well, I have a podcast. So,
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I have a brick wall, which is historically radio, DJ kind of background.
yeah.
Anyway, season 5.
Yeah.
This season's good. This is the FU season.
Yeah. Like, yeah, we've had enough. We've
And
had enough.
yeah, to put an immediately negative spin on it. Now, we're gonna do the tough love season
Hmm.
because late in the last season we kind of got into this there's a lot of people out there that want to have success and they're not reaching success. And I think it's just, we think it's just because they're not being honest with themselves and the world isn't being honest with them. So let's have some
Yeah.
stark honesty for a season.
Yeah. And I like that because I think the other feedback that we get too is like the conversations that we have are just like honest conversations about being a coach in the coaching industry too. And like what we've had to go through to get to, what we're doing now.
Yeah.
So it's just like another layer, right? Of those just blunt conversations about being a coach and like what you need to do to be successful. And sometimes
Yeah.
that needs to come with a little bit of tough love.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that's going to be season 5. We're just going to be talking about tough love, still sharing lists probably, because I feel like that's like the easiest way to communicate information.
Yeah. I love a good list.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
A good list. And, we'll talk about other things too, probably. I'm
Good
sure
list,
Ryan will continue to talk about his food cravings.
good conversation, good snacks, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
All that good stuff.
Yeah. All
Cool.
right. So let's jump into season 1. No, season 5, episode 1. Episode 1 of the Tough Love season is the top 5 tough love tips.
Yes, these are our top 5 tough love tips for you folks in the audience. Things that I don't think there's going to be any huge,
No.
new, oh my God, shock. But these are things that if you're not doing them, which nobody's doing these perfectly, it's important to have the tough love reminder every now and then.
Yeah.
And here it is. And
Yeah.
today, 5 of them.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
We're here for that.
Yeah. Yeah, because you need to hear these things, ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen, and people in the audience.
Yeah. And, Ryan and I were just talking about, we were worrying, is the tough love season going to be too negative? Because we don't want to be downers with this season. Like, we want it to be empowering and uplifting and inspiring for everyone. But sometimes there's something that you need to hear in order to take that next step forward. You don't
Yeah,
want to hear it, but you got to hear it, that feeling.
yeah,
So
yeah,
let's just
yeah,
set that intention that moving forward with all of these episodes, it's not that we're trying to be, demotivating or disempowering. We want success for everybody. I mean, that's my dream for everyone, is that everyone's successful. Everyone can be successful.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Certainly.
sometimes you just got to have a push, you got to
The
hear something
love
you don't want to hear.
the loving push. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's what tough love is about, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's why the word love is in there, right? So
Yeah.
okay, let's get into it.
All right.
Um, let's get into it.
Number one.
5 tips, tough love tips. Number one, and this is a good one. Ladies and gentlemen and people, it's time to embrace accountability, which means take full responsibility for actions and decisions. Stop blaming others or external circumstances for your results and learn from mistakes and grow from them. That's
Yeah.
personal accountability. And that is definitely a characteristic of the successful entrepreneur or coach.
I love that. And super important. And it's funny because I did my human design reading last night. I had a human design reading, and that's one of my designs, is that I'm a provoker, and I provoke people to take radical responsibility for themselves and their lives. That's just part
Oh,
of like who I am.
how
So
about
I was
that?
so in the reading, I was like, oh, cool. So basically, when I walk into a room, my energy is like provoking. Like I annoy people to,
Oh,
you know, not annoy people in a bad way, but it's just like, just my presence is like, take responsibility for yourself.
I,
Um,
to me, provoke and annoy are not the same. To me, like you can provoke people without annoying them.
exactly. But I think most people, when they hear the word provoke, it has like a negative connotation,
Hmm. Okay.
right? So
Yeah.
in this example, you want to look at provoke as a positive thing. Like you're helping people take responsibility, radical responsibility for their
Yeah.
life, their business, whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
Um, and we all should be really doing that. Not just if you're a coach, but just in general, like in your life, take responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Good. That's a good one. Embrace the accountability,
Yeah, it's a
folks.
good reminder.
Cool. Um, easier said than done, perhaps, but
Yeah,
you got to do it.
100%.
Got to do it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
And how do you
Number.
know if you're not, I guess, is a good a good thing to think about. How do you know when you're not taking responsibility or embracing that accountability?
I think a good way to know is if you catch yourself saying to yourself, "I can't be successful at this because of that," right? Like
Mm,
if
yeah,
you're putting the blame for why you can't get what you want in life on circumstances that are outside of yourself, you may not be at a full level of personal accountability, right?
yeah,
Again, yeah, of course, there's stuff for everybody that's outside of our control, but for everything that's outside of our control, there's something else that's within our control. And so looking at what is within, orienting ourselves to what is within our control that can impact whether or not we're getting what we want in life and orienting to that,
yeah.
right? And just asking myself, am I doing that? Right? Because if
Yeah.
not, let's reorient, right?
Yeah. Then you're probably blaming.
Yeah.
Okay,
Cool.
good.
Number
Number
next.
two is set realistic goals and be persistent when you're pursuing those goals. I mean, we've talked about this tons on the podcast.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it sounds like simple and straightforward, set realistic goals and persist. But as realistic and simple as that is, that's not what most people do. Most people set realistic goals, face a challenge, and change their goal
yeah,
repeatedly and predictably, rather than setting a realistic goal and when the challenges arise, saying, okay, how can I overcome this challenge and stick to that original goal, right? And so um, it's like every time you do that, you're resetting, whatever progress you had made back to zero every time you change the goal. I heard this really nice metaphor on a mindset coaching call I was on recently for part of a program that I'm in. And the metaphor was like, reaching your goals is like putting a pot of water on the stove to boil. You put the water on, you turn on the heat to maximum, and it doesn't matter how good your stove is, there's going to be a time where there's heat going into the water and the water's not boiling. And that's like, setting the pot on the stove is like setting the goal.
Yeah.
Turning on the heat is like creating effort towards your goal. But then getting mad when the water's not boiling yet kind of doesn't make sense. And worse yet, what some people will do is take that pot of water and say, well, this water's not boiling, dump it in the sink and fill a different pot with different water and put it on a different burner and start the process from the beginning. When if they'd
Mm-hmm.
just been persistent with the original pot, it eventually would have boiled, right?
Yeah.
And so, we can put the question to the audience, where have you like had water that was 90% of the way to boiling and dumped it because you were impatient and started with a new pot on a new burner,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's what being persistent with your goals is recognizing that there's that time where the water's sitting there, the heat is going in, and it hasn't boiled yet, but
Yes.
knowing it will,
Yeah.
right?
And then once it does, it's a rapid boil, isn't it? Like it's just bubbling away.
Maybe. I don't know. Depends on the altitude, feet above sea level. I don't know. Anyways, cool. Number 3 is a very good tough love tip.
Mm.
And it tells us you should accept and learn from failure. Accept and learn from failure. Come to view failure as a part of the journey to success,
Mm-hmm.
which is a great tip. I mean, kind of the opposite of this is, when things don't go right, we get overly frustrated. We take it as evidence that nothing's ever going to work. We tend to catastrophize. It's like, okay, well, I didn't make that one sale. Therefore, business is impossible, right?
Yeah.
We attach these meanings that, logically don't make sense, but make us almost feel a sense of relief because it's like, well, it's not that I didn't make the sale because I could get better at sales. It's I didn't make the sale because life is not fair, right? Therefore, it's
Yeah.
not my responsibility. But we want to come to see failure as data, as feedback, as we say in NLP land, there is no failure, only
Yeah.
feedback, only information.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's really just a setback. We talked about this like a bunch a couple of weeks ago, but it's like, that was a that was one of the beliefs that I created when I became an entrepreneur, right? That's the episode we were talking about that, where it's like
Yeah,
I see it all as a setback. It's just like I wasn't ready yet to go to that next level. I needed to learn one more thing, or I need to, experience something else. And it's a good mindset to have because then you never are feeling disappointed.
yeah, yeah. Agreed.
And the other thing too is like some people don't even get to the failure. Like they're afraid of failing. So they're not even like really trying a lot of different things because they don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to look silly. They don't want to like make a mistake. But, you know, then you don't experience either the success or the failure of that.
Yeah,
So, recognizing if you're doing that too, you want to stop doing that. Because what's the
absolutely.
worst thing that's going to happen if you make a mistake or you get embarrassed or you mess up? Nothing, probably. You might feel silly for like 5 minutes or a day, and then you move
Yeah,
on.
yeah. One time, I went live on social media and my delivery wasn't as smooth as it could be. And
Mm-hmm.
just the entire economy of Canada just collapsed. And, millions of people were plunged into the depths of poverty. Right. But sometimes it feels like that. Like that's the pressure, like on an entrepreneur. Like if I don't get this thing perfectly, like everything is going to go horrible. And really,
Yeah.
it's not. Like really, that didn't happen, folks. The Canadian economy is and always has been and always will be strong or whatever. I don't know. Anyways, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So many times. So many times, or you. want to host a class or something, a math class, and no one shows up or one person shows up. Like I remember once doing a group hypnosis, past life regression, and I had one person show up. And I
Yeah.
could have taken that as a fail, but I was like, oh, well, I guess this was what it was supposed to be. And it ended up being great. So, you
Yeah.
learn and you move on.
Oh, so yeah, you learn and you move on. Yeah.
A
Cool.
little tough
Okay.
love there.
Tough love. Number 4 on our list of tough love tips 2024 is stop seeking constant approval. Ooh, this is a good
Mm,
one.
yeah.
Yeah. Stop seeking constant approval. That rush of dopamine from some type of validation, right?
Yeah.
Uh, of course, you want to value people's opinions and decisions, but don't require them, right?
Yeah.
We talk about the difference between internal and external reference for knowing whether we're doing a good job or not. And we kind of want to have a balance of both. We want to pay attention to the feedback that we're getting out in the external world, but you also want to like know whether you've given a good effort or not. Because sometimes you'll give a good effort and get zero feedback. And other times you'll give, a poor effort and get, sort of false positive feedback because people like you. So they're telling you you're doing well, even though your work wasn't as good as it could have been. Right. So,
Yeah.
you know, we want to move away from this dependence on external validation, right? And see it more as data, right?
Yeah. And I think with that comes more confidence, right? Like I see this a lot, especially in my breakthroughs. This is like a big piece of what a lot of people need help with is just trusting themselves and having confidence. And often that is a result of a limiting belief from when you were a kid. Something happened between mom and dad, or you and mom, or you and dad, and you don't trust yourself. And the only way you're going to build your confidence is actually by trusting yourself and your own judgment and, um, you know, speaking up and sharing your opinions and recognizing that you matter and that you're worthy and you're valuable in this world. So, this one is like a big piece of tough love because this also requires you to do the work and really get
Yeah.
real and honest with yourself and be like, okay, where am I? You know, why am I not trusting myself? Like, what is this stemming from? And maybe having to go a little bit deeper because that seeking for constant approval can also be like a trauma response. So,
Yeah.
this is a really, really huge topic, and this could actually be like a whole episode.
Could be.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah. Trust
There you
yourself
go.
and
Yeah.
do small things. You know what I mean? Like, um, just little things. Because this was a big thing that I had to work through, and just even doing this podcast. Like, if I looked at episode 4 versus like episode 54, I've come a long way in terms of just like my own confidence, in terms of giving my own opinion in this type of an environment and conversation mode.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Cool. I like it. And in business, do some things because you like them and you want to do them, right?
Yeah,
Especially like social media. Even this morning, I was thinking about like, because I got to get back into posting on Instagram more. I've been kind of focusing a ton of my energy on some client stuff I have going on and some programs I'm running behind the scenes. And I was thinking like, I was in a good rhythm posting a reel almost every day on Instagram. And I realized today I kind of feel like just posting like normal value posts, which is like a selfie with a caption more often. And I caught myself being like, um, yeah, but what has the wider reach? And I was like, you know what? Sometimes it's okay to just post content that I feel like posting and
totally.
forget how many likes or comments it's going to get and just know that the people that need to see it will see it, right? And that is
Yeah,
connected to seeking external validation, right? There's a difference between like recognizing the data that is vanity metrics online and depending on vanity metrics for validation, right? There's a big difference.
yeah,
Anyways,
yeah. And that's true. Like social media is a really good indicator of that.
yeah,
Like, how do you feel when you put a post out there and it doesn't perform the way you expect it to? And
yeah,
then how do you feel when a post performs? And does that have an impact on your day or, like your afternoon or your energy for the week.
Yeah.
That's something like you really want to tune into.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. All right. Last one on the list. Definitely the most exciting tip of them all, and the most what's the word I'm looking for here?
Fun.
Exotic? I don't know. Fun? Yeah, like people are gonna hear this one and be like, "Oh man, dropped a bombshell on us today, Alana and Ryan." Anyways, so here it is. Hope I built it up enough. This one's gonna blow you. Hold on to your groceries, ladies and gentlemen. Prioritize number 5 tip is prioritize self-care and setting boundaries.
Mm, yeah.
Hot tip.
Hot tip right there.
Hot tip. I mean,
Um,
so yeah, like not the most exciting tip in the world, but this is huge. Prioritizing, get your sleep, be hydrated. Don't let people walk all over you, right?
yeah.
A lot of people get like just like sidebar again. Your audience accepting your free value is not people walking all over you, ladies and gentlemen, right? Like
No. Yeah.
when you give away free value and like people are willing and happy to like, watch your reels and read your captions and accept your lead magnets, but they don't always become paying clients. That is not people walking all over you. Just so we can put that line in the sand. That's people giving you the gift of their attention, which is something to be grateful for, in my opinion. Anyways,
Oh,
small
totally.
sidebar, but still,
Totally.
yeah, unrelated to that, setting boundaries, right? And self-care. What's your favorite self-care thing these days, Alana?
I mean, anything related to water. So like going to like body blitz or doing like anything like that. Like going to like a soak, sauna, hot tub, cold plunge, steam,
Yeah.
warm pool. Yeah, that's like my ultimate. Obviously, I'm not doing that all the time. But I don't know. I find every week, especially when I'm busy with clients, I do one thing for me. Like I'll go get a facial or I'll get my nails done or I'll get a massage. Those are my like I need to do that. But then also just going for a walk every day, going to my favorite coffee shop, that's self-care for me. Going to bed early, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Those are
gotcha.
my big ones.
Those are good ones.
One
Yeah.
thing that I've been exploring a lot with lately, because I've just been feeling a little bit, I don't know, maybe overwhelmed or elevated in some way. I've just been asking myself every morning, what do you need? And it's been such an amazing question because like how often do you ask yourself that question? What do I need in like
Yeah.
today, right now? And it's so interesting what your subconscious produces when you ask yourself that question.
Mm. And what was the last thing you needed?
Um, I needed to do so I really have been wanting to do this somatic class that I purchased, but I knew I wasn't going to be able to be there live. And so that's what it told me I needed, and I didn't do it. Which is like making me, and it keeps telling me you need to do this class, you need to do this class, but I keep ignoring it because I've just been busy and I can't, it's like 2 hours. Like I need to kind of carve out 2 hours to do it. So that's weighing on me. So I'm going to make the time to do that. But
Yeah.
on the weekend, I asked myself, and it was like, you need to have a nap. So I had a nap. Oh, actually, I did a hypnosis. I laid on the couch and did a hypnosis. But for me, that's kind of like napping.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's funny when I asked myself that question because I was listening to what you were saying. What was the question again? What do I need right now?
Yeah. What do you need in this moment? Or what do you need today?
Yeah, I pictured one of those giant Toblerone bars that they have at Costco that are like $100, and it's like 3 kilograms of Toblerone.
Yeah.
That's what I vividly picked. I've never even had one of those.
Yeah.
Never seen them there. It's a seasonal thing. They have it at
Yeah.
Costco in December. Seen
I
them
used to
there.
get one every year for Christmas. Is the
One of
best.
those giant ones, those like
Well,
huge,
not maybe that big, but it was probably this big. Yeah.
because there's the normal giant ones that you can get at like the grocery store that are like 20 or 30 or $40, and they're like a one
Yeah, okay, that's probably the
pound,
one. That's the
like a
one.
1 pound Toblerone. But this one, it's like at Costco,
Like king size.
it's like you could bring it to a family gathering of 20 people and it still wouldn't be finished. Like it's that big. So
Wow.
when I asked myself, what do I need right now in this moment? That is what my subconscious mind presented to me vividly.
Go to Costco. What are you
But I
waiting
can't even
for?
get it because it's February and it's a seasonal thing.
Mm. A follow-up question to that one, which I just found out last night, was also very good, but it was so good. It was like a question you ask yourself at the end of the day, which is like, what wisdom did you receive from that need or something like that?
What was it?
Like,
What?
what wisdom did you receive from providing yourself with that need?
Hmm.
So it's like, what do I, at the beginning of the day, it's like, what do I need right now or in this moment? If you're feeling really overwhelmed, you could be like, what do I need in this moment? But then once you fulfill that need, then what wisdom did you receive from fulfilling that need?
Oh. Hmm.
Which is something you could like ask yourself before you go to bed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So after I eat the giant Toblerone, I'll ask myself, what wisdom did I fulfill from gorging myself on delicious Scandinavian chocolate? I think is it Scandinavian? Where does Toblerone come from?
I think Switzerland, isn't it? Swiss
Yeah. So
chocolate?
was I right? Toblerone, Swiss. It's
Yeah.
Swiss. Is Switzerland Scandinavia?
I
I
don't,
think it is.
is it? I feel like people think it is, but it isn't.
Scandinavia. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Sweden.
Sweden is.
Sweden, but not Switzerland. Sweden, Norway, Denmark
Yeah.
make up Scandinavia, but not Switzerland. Well, you're going to have to edit that part of the podcast out because now I just sound ignorant of Northern European geography, which is not what I want.
I'll edit that out, don't worry. And then I'll
Now
just put it
leave
on
it
Instagram.
leave it in. People need to know. I'm learning, everybody. I'm not perfect.
Hey, I'm terrible when it comes to geography, so just
Yeah,
two peas in a pod here. Um, so
cool.
maybe should we just do a whole season on food?
And like European geography,
Yeah, well, that's a niche.
that's a niche. I had a
That's a niche.
really nice dinner I had two really nice dinners in Austria
Hmm.
when I was there. And one of them was like a traditional Austrian dinner, and it was
Yeah.
like goose and
Yeah, what is Austrian food exactly?
yeah, I couldn't tell you. I've eaten it, but it was like what I had was like similar to like an American Thanksgiving dinner, but it was like Austrian. It was around the same time of year.
Okay.
So it was like goose instead of turkey, or I don't know, something they refer to as goose. And like instead of mashed potatoes, it was like mashed um, something else. I don't remember now. It was really, really good. Really.
Mm.
And then same visit to Vienna, different night. Some of the best Chinese food I ever had at a Chinese
Oh,
restaurant in Vienna. So good. And we have good Chinese food in Canada.
yeah, we
Uh,
do. But it's more
but
Canadian Chinese, don't you think? It's more
well, I mean,
like Canadianified Chinese food.
yeah, there's like outside of China Chinese food, and then there's I'm sure inside of China Chinese food. Obviously we know it's a different thing.
Yeah,
So I'm talking about like outside of China Chinese food,
in
Vienna,
Canada, in Vienna. Yeah, nice.
phenomenal. Yeah, in this one particular place that I went to that I don't remember what it was called. Anyways, so that was number 5 tip: prioritize self care and boundaries.
Yeah,
Um,
learn to
and then
say no. That's a big one. You got to say no.
gotta say no.
Hmm.
You got to.
You've
Yeah.
got to. Yeah,
Yeah. Cool. All right.
cool.
I think we did it. I think we got it. If you could put my office or no, my PO box address in the show notes in case anybody wants to ship me a giant Toblerone bar, I will accept those.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Got
That's
that.
gonna be it. Oh, we're hosting a workshop.
Oh yes, I was just gonna say we have one more thing to talk about real quick. After popular demand, we've decided to host a workshop where we teach you everything we know about starting a podcast and giving you the step by step on that. So that is coming up in March. Have we decided on the date for sure?
Have we? I'm good with that date.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Thursday, March 21st, we're going to host a workshop called Just Hit Record, everything you need to know to start your podcast tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we'll be teaching everything that we've learned creating this podcast.
Yeah. Having a podcast, great way to establish your credibility, great way to convert followers into paying clients. It's just a great asset to have in your business. It can be easy and fun if you know how to let it be easy and fun, which is going to be a big part of what we're sharing.
Yeah.
And it's an incredible self-development tool, like being a
Yeah.
podcast host, having a show. So there's so many great reasons. We're going to get into all of them at the training. We're going to give all of our inside secrets on how we've been able to do almost 100 episodes with, honestly, without frustration, without pain. It's been easy. It's been fun. It's been successful, and we're going to pull back the curtain. All that being said, this is not a free workshop, by the way. This is going to be a paid workshop, but the value that's going to be included is going to be, immensely more than what anybody is paying in price. So you've got the date, save the date, more details to come on how to register. And yeah, anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Cool.
I think that's it.
All right. So there we
All
go.
right. That's it from us. Follow us on Instagram at It's the No Excuses podcast. Follow Ryan, follow me.
Follow everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And we'll see you next time or talk to you next time.
Yeah. Ciao.
Bye.